How's it going, folks? It's the GreenFist, and it's been a minute since I've done one of these unscripted rant videos, but there's been something that's been on my mind that I just have to get off my chest. And that's the constant diminishing returns of graphics and how this current generation of games don't really feel that different from the last. Like, I know the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are way more powerful than their predecessors, but it hasn't really affected how games are made that much. At least, not as of the recording of this video. For older Zoomers and Millennials, y'all remember going from a PlayStation 2 to an Xbox 360? Like, you immediately felt and saw the difference. Character models looked way more photorealistic, environments were way more detailed, the size of game levels and maps were bigger, some mechanics that would have made your PlayStation 2 explode were now viable. Like, you instantly knew that, like, yeah, we're in a new era. It must have been even crazier in previous generations, going from the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64. All of a sudden, games have another dimension? Like, what? Entire new genres such as 3D platformers and first-person shooters were now possible, which must have been mind-blowing back in the day. With each new generation, the overall look of games have always improved. Third generation, the NES, 8-bit era. Fourth generation, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, the 16-bit era. Motherfuckers got 2D games that actually look detailed this time around. 5th gen, PlayStation, N64, early 3D. 6th gen, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube. 3D games actually look good now and aren't just polygons. 7th gen, 360, PS3, games go HD. But then we get to the 8th gen with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and it's just like, where was the big improvement? More HD? Not saying that games didn't look better, but there wasn't this gigantic leap forward like in previous generations. And with this current generation, it really didn't matter if you got a PlayStation 5 or not, since all the games were able to run on PlayStation 4 with no big downgrades, assuming people were able to get a PlayStation 5 within the first year of launch anyway, but I digress. Another thing that contributes to this feeling I have with the modern generation not feeling very distinctive is the lack of exclusive killer apps that come out during the launch of new hardware. Like, when the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X launched a couple of years ago, even though a lot of people wanted it, there wasn't this fervent, I gotta have it attitude. And the reason for that is because, one, you couldn't find these shits, but more importantly, there were no fucking games. What am I supposed to pay $500 for Cyberpunk, a game that wasn't even finished? The best thing the PlayStation 5 had to offer was Demon Souls, which barely even counts since that was just a one-to-one remake. And for Xbox, all their shit is available on PC, so if you had a decent PC, there was really no reason to cop one. Both consoles didn't really have like a solid roster of games until the end of the year, and even then, you compare the first year of new games for those consoles compared to the first year of like the 6th generation of consoles, and the difference is night and day. 2001 alone, we got Grand Theft Auto 3, the first Halo, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Final Fantasy X, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Solid 2, Pikmin, Silent Hill 2, and there's way more that I haven't named. All of these games are all-time classics that immediately raised the bar upon release. And the craziest thing is that they're all in different genres too. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see a first-year generation lineup like that again. And this isn't to like discredit the work that developers put in now. Like, I understand the setbacks. Games are much more bigger now, which means they take way longer to make. On top of that, as the medium gets older, it's going to be way harder to wow fans since many people now have been playing games their whole lives and they've seen it all. It's still very possible. I mean, last year, Elden Ring and God of War had many people's attention, though it wasn't due to a step forward in graphics rather than just defining mechanics that people already liked. Don't think that like graphics have peaked or stagnated or anything, but it is pretty apparent that the improvement of them will become less and less noticeable. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. I had to vent about this somewhere, so yeah, see ya.